One thing, we'll probably go deeper in your scripting, but one thing I see you do probably better than I've ever seen anyone, is not only do you, like a lot of people do a hook where and they get their attention for a second and then they go into their thing. You like lead with these hooks, but then it opens this like a thing that you don't close till way later. And so it's like your hooks are so much more efficient and effective than almost anyone I've ever seen because of that. I've tried to figure out how to replicate that more so in my world, but do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I love, you probably have a name for it. So I'd love you to talk about that, because it's not just like grab their attention with a flashy headline or you jumping around. It's like you're hooking and opening a loop that then doesn't get the payoff till way later. I love you to explain that part, because I think it's the amplifier you're doing that's so much more powerful than almost anybody else doing any kind of hooks.
I really appreciate that. And you nailed it where you said it's an open loop, because as humans, when a loop is opened, we're kind of already filling in that blank in our minds, right? And so if I don't close it, there is a subconscious itch there that I created that I'm not going to scratch. And the reason I think we got so good at this, or the reason I know we got so good at this, is because we made more money every second that we kept people watching. And this was Facebook 2020 to about mid 2023, 24. And still today, the money's just different, where we were not getting paid unless we were making videos over 3 minutes long. So we were taking concepts that were 6 seconds. Most people would make it a 6-second video, and we had to hook you so hard and suspend you to watch for at least 3 minutes with an ad break in the middle. That's very tough, but we wouldn't make any meaningful money unless the video also, you made it through that ad break and then also got at least 1 million views. So we were putting in reps at our height, 18-minute, 3-minute or long videos a day, every day for years. And all we were studying was how to get more retention, and how could I get Russell to spend not 30 seconds with me, but 3 minutes and 30 seconds with me. Watch 18-minute long Facebook lives. And it all followed the same pattern of hook and then not scratch that itch until the very last 3 seconds. And YouTube follows a similar format, right? And so does actually every story that we tell. Look at any movie that you watch. I love the Taken series with Liam Neeson, because I think he's a bad boy. Like, he's a bad, it's awesome what he's doing, and for a good reason. But one, the stakes are very high, right? So you have to raise the stakes. That's where I think most people go wrong, is they just play really low stakes in their videos, but stakes determine why people care. So are you telling people how to make $1 million with their funnel? That's a pretty high stakes, right? It works. People care about those things. So what is the theme of your video, and are the stakes high enough? But also, how are you giving them enough value to where they want to stick around? And we would play with these thresholds, and I won't lie to you, and you probably already know if you're familiar with me. For years, we made videos that were bad, you guys, subjectively, like cringe content. We made Facebook change their algorithm so many times and actually install watch bait penalties because of these videos, because it was fascinating that people say they want to watch really thoughtful and integrity-filled content, but in reality, they want to watch cat videos. They want to watch things that are surface level, that aren't too deep, right? They're standing in line at the bank, their kids tugging at their leg, they're making dinner, they're laying in bed with one eye open. So we realized almost the worse the videos got, the more hundreds of millions of views they got, and the more we got paid. And so we started playing with those thresholds and dialing in this formula to where thousands and thousands of viral videos later, we were able to see, wow, of the ones that earned the most and got the most attention, a very clear formula appeared. And then we took that formula and started making videos exclusively with it. And I'm not going to look you or anybody else in the eyes and say, if you use this formula, every single video will go viral. No, but I will say our batting average increased to about a 7 out of 10 video getting over 1 million views for sure. And so then we started applying that to different niches, because think about that. Like, if we could compel people, like, we won't call it by its street name, which is cringy. We'll call it what it is as marketers, which is compelling content. We would compel people to watch stuff that was so bad, right? And that they didn't even like. If we could compel people to watch videos they didn't even like, how could we compel? Imagine good stuff, right? That was the thought. It still is. And so then we just keep testing that storytelling, but it's all built around retention. Because if you and I are going up against each other and Russell has more watch minutes with the algorithm than me, the algorithm's going to say Russell's content's more valuable, and he's going to get more eyeballs and more served up, more people serving his content, the algorithm.
Interesting. So I want to go back. So Facebook's when you first led it, and you said 2020 is right. So like COVID, that time in line is when you started publishing on Facebook. And so we get
2019.
2019,
a little
before it. We give people example, because again, I've seen a lot of them, but like you said, like a bad video, like how would you, like, I don't know, pull in any random example, but how you do a video, how you'd be hooking them, and what like what that kind of looked like originally. Because I love people understand the evolution of kind of where you've gone with it.
Sure. What some of these videos would look like is a guy dressed up in a ghillie suit, right? And so he looks, it's like hunting gear, right? He's in full camouflage. He looks like a bush. And he'd be sitting there like a tree in someone's house, poking someone's butt or their shoulder. And then they turn around and be like, who's there? What's that? And it's like Chinese physical comedy. But people can't stop watching until the person realizes it's the guy dressed like a tree and it's not a real plant. Like we anchor on pranks a lot because they follow the formula so perfectly. There's a setup, and then it doesn't pay off until you realize the prank is executed, right? So we were, for a long time, not able to crack 10 million, 20 million views on a video. And all our friends were getting 100 million hitters. And I'm like, dang it, what are we doing so wrong? Why can't we get 100 million? We're capped at 20. And it was anchoring and retention for suspense. And all of it was suspense. So we did the oldest trick in the book where I put shaving cream cheese in my husband's hand. He's sleeping. And then we're going to tickle his face and he's going to slap himself, right? Everybody knows that bit. And we just raised the stakes a little bit more. I had a fly sound and I'm just buzzing the fly app on YouTube over his head until he smacked himself. That did 110 million views and probably made us 55 grand. That dumb video that the whole world knew it was going to happen. But it was just the watch time was so good. We rehearsed.
I think I saw it because you think it'd be like you just cut the thing where it slaps really fast, but how long did it drag out? Like how long were you? Like
3 minutes and 1 second.
301's when you hit it and then it just ends.
Every video was 3 minutes on the nose, 3 minutes and 1 second, so you get paid. But that silly video was our first 100 million hitter because we finally understood watch time and retention, and that our job for the next 3 years, and still is in our publishing division, is just to keep people on these apps for long periods of time. And so that's still your job. That's my job. As people who are putting content out there, you get rewarded if you make content that people spend time consuming. So how can we do that? How can we become great storytellers? Whether the video is 6 seconds long now or 3 minutes long, if you can tell great stories about your business and make people feel something, they're going to stick around and the platforms are going to reward you for it.
Yeah. I know in our world, there's some people who look at this and like they want to create videos and stuff to get advertising money, but most of them, like they've got their own products, their own funnels, things like that. And so the question is like, okay, let's say like, what's the equivalent of this, smashing a pie in the face for me, if let's say, I'm selling a product on relationships or weight loss or things like that. So I'm sure that's what you deal with a lot now. It's like, how do you take your framework and transform it for a very specific type of business? Is it different, or like how do you do it for other businesses like that?
Great question. So I just got off coaching on our mastermind. It's all 7 and 8 figure business owners trying to figure out how to apply those techniques to storytelling their own business. And one of our people is a weight loss coach. So let's go with weight loss. And she's just teaching, here's the right form for a wall sit. And here's all this stuff that everybody else is doing. And she looks like everybody else. So she's getting the same results that most people are getting, which is not exciting. And so we're teaching her to master retention and challenges. And how can you entertain the masses and then educate the interested and sell to the committed, right? Why is somebody going to buy Pam's course or be trained by Pam rather than any other fitness trainer? What is her business unique selling point? And what is that marketing angle that all of the content then is a spoke from that wheel? And so we dialed it in, and she really helps women get great booties. And that's fantastic because people love looking at the human body, just guys or girls. So if she's doing a wall sit, okay, how can we go from pancake to peach in 90 days? Is we just reformatted her offer a little bit from pancake to peach. Everybody wants that. So now she can do a wall sit video, or she can do, I'm standing now, but like a glute extension where her glute, you have a girl, she's on all fours, glutes extended, and she's teaching the form in this, but she puts a peach maybe on the girl's booty and says, if this falls off, you have to hold the glute raise. That's the whole point. So if this peach falls off, then you have to start all over. So now we're watching this girl shake and hold the thing, waiting for the music's dialing in, the keyframes going in on this peach that's shaking. Is it going to fall off? Maybe she makes it difficult and puts Legos under her knees. So if she drops that, she's going to step on Legos now. Like, how can we raise the stakes to turn a challenge and an entertainment factor into teaching the proper form for a glute raise, right? And just make her a little bit more memorable because she has fantastic personality. So let's use that. So we just help people find ways to use this formula in a way that mimics their offer and helps them tell better stories and be more entertaining.
I'm curious because I can see how that works for like a video or even an ad. But let's say someone's got a YouTube channel. Like, would you recommend, or do you have people where like most of the videos they're doing are following this formula consistently on their channel? Or is this more like you do these every once in a while to increase engagement and subscribers and you could run as an ad? You know what I mean? Or how do you train people? What's your thoughts on that?
We say if you're in growth mode, which I think right now every single person listening to this should be in growth mode, because personal brand is scalable for the first time in history. With AI now, the playing field is level, and that makes it an arms race. Whoever gets the most attention gets the most business. So how can we help you get more attention? I would say, and this may be different for everybody, but if you're in growth mode, I would do 50% what we call top of funnel, which is more widely relatable content to attract new eyeballs and heat up your profiles, and show Instagram or whatever platform that you're putting this on, all of them, hopefully, but that you're making content that is widely shareable, high engagement, and relevant. Because if they see that, if they engage with that, that's going to bring new eyeballs to your account. And then they're going to see your middle of the funnel trust building and bottom of the funnel conversion style content. So I would say a couple things. One, do 50% top of funnel if you're not already, just to get your reps in, get the growth in, get new eyeballs to what you're already doing. But then we do teach the formula in every single, whether you're doing middle funnel or bottom of the funnel content. And what that looks like is just in the way you structure a video. So even if you're doing talking head podcast clips, there's a way that you structure a script to hook really hard, make a subconscious promise that makes people feel something and that creates an itch, and then give value. But don't scratch that itch until the end of your video. Even if it's 10 seconds or 30 seconds long, you just need the retention. Because if your video is 30 seconds and people scroll at 10 seconds on average, you're telling the platforms that your content isn't very valuable. They didn't want to stick around once they were exposed to it. So you're not making anything valuable. So that's just the game to play. But if you learn how to archetype these videos well and provide value the whole time, you're going to be in a much better position. So if you take a good example of this, so I can show you a picture, would be Jefferson Fisher. You know who Jefferson Fisher is?
Yeah, just recently. I don't know him super well.
Sits in his car and teaches people how to have better conversations and avoid conflict. So this guy is a trial lawyer from Texas. He has 6 million Instagram followers. A trial lawyer from Texas. Do you think he's talking about law? No, he's not advertising his law firm, but he's teaching people on the macro how to have better conversations, how to avoid conflict, how to talk to somebody who's gaslighting you, how to overcome it when somebody says this, and how to just have better conversations. Now he's got a best-selling book. He's crushing it because he's unniching himself a little bit. He's making himself more widely relatable. And now his law firm's doing amazing. Yeah. But I think people really need to understand that there's two different types of relevance. There's contextual relevance, which is what most people are aiming at. They're the law firm you think about when you're in Austin, or they're the restaurant you think about when you want a great burger, or you're the fitness trainer, right? That people think about. That's contextual relevance. But then there's cultural relevance, which is above that and takes no extra effort to just go a little bit wider. And then you become contextually relevant by default. So now when I think of trial lawyers, I automatically think of Jefferson as the best because I see his content all the time because he goes wider. He does at least 50% top of funnel, shareable, engaging content. So now he is who I think about. Another example would be dude wipes. These are butt wipes, you guys. They have a branded content series where they do a makeshift UFC ring and they take really breakable things and they just pendulum swing them until they bust, but they make it feel like a UFC fight where they're taking dude wipes and wiping the fighters, the breakable things off in between rounds. And it's hilarious. And they get hundreds of millions of views. So now when I think of wipes, I've been incepted. I buy dude wipes now just because they're the only one that I can name, right? And they've built an amazing brand going wide and entertaining the masses. And then they have their conversion content all throughout their pages as well.
Yeah.
But that's my challenge is if everybody would just aim for cultural relevance, it's no extra effort. It's a little bit more fun. And you're just making yourself bigger than you actually are, which is going to attract your right clients. Yeah.